What up, YouTubes? Let's get back on some nerd shit with Eric Helms. That's right. There's not too much footage left, so this may be one of the last videos. The first question is about nutrient partitioning, and I think we talked about that for about 3 minutes. The second question, which was kind of like a mix of statements with a couple questions, came from Maddie Fusaro of Fusaro Fitness, the YouTube channel. And it seemed like Maddie was concerned with stubborn body fat, fat distribution, and fat redistribution. Anyways, you're gonna hear about that and a little bit more in this video right here. It's about 14 minutes long. Great to listen to if you're doing cardio, you're about to go eat, you're going for a car drive, that sort of thing. Keep in mind that on the day of the footage, we just finished eating froyo, and that was after like a 2-hour workout, really intense one. And we were getting kind of tired, perhaps a little bit irritable. And of course, we were going over questions for like 2 hours. But all for you motherfuckers. I got some good news and I got some bad news. Good news is I'm sure that we can do more of these in the future. I'm sure that I can go on my Facebook page, ask you guys for questions, hit up Eric Helms, and we do a little session and get some questions answered. Bad news is he's going to motherfucking New Zealand. New Zealand. Yes, that's right. He's going to some university in Auckland to do research and get his PhD. Eric, I'm gonna miss you, big boy. Anyways, let's get to the video. Like I said, this is some nerd shit. If you're looking for a workout or a gym footage, something like that, stay tuned for one of my next videos. And if you like Eric Helms, you better like this video. Peace. Yeah. All right, guys, actually many of you guys wanted to know more on nutrient partitioning, probably what the hell it is. Should you worry about it? As a bodybuilder or just someone who lifts for fun, what the hell is nutrient partitioning?
So nutrient is the shit we get from food, like macros and micros.
Yeah.
Primarily, we're talking about the macronutrients, we're talking about nutrient partitioning.
Yeah.
Partitioning means where does it most dominantly go? We can store the macronutrients in various forms.
Can I store all of them in my BBC?
That'd be some pretty hardcore partitioning. I don't know what you have to do, for that. Yeah. But so, like for example, here's a good example. If you were to do a whole bunch of glycogen depleting training, your body, this is depleting the carbohydrates that are stored in muscle from weight training or cardio or whatever.
Okay.
Then your body would see that higher on its priority list of where it needs to put carbohydrate, right? You can play with this, but it's really not necessary for 99% of the time. Yeah. Likewise, another cool thing to think of is that basically the more of a macronutrient you eat, the more it shifts its usage of it.
Like,
so,
what are you talking about?
Like if I eat a 80% fat diet, most of the energy I use will then come from fat. So if I was to, people have played around with the idea of, okay, go on a high fat diet, then I switch to carbs, right? High carbs, and that way I am still using fat for energy and I won't deplete glycogen, and then I'll be better at my endurance race. Yeah. There's a whole line of studies on whether high fat diets high carb diets endurance will
Holy
work.
Shit.
And it's based on sound knowledge of, okay, no matter, if you feed the body something a lot of, it'll use more of it.
Yeah.
Likewise, if you put someone on a high carb diet and switch to low fat or vice versa, it can do some wacky stuff in the body. And that's why a lot of studies out there aren't necessarily useful, because we don't know what they're eating before the intervention, right? So most of the time, in the average population, and what we see in most studies is that the body switches over pretty quick, and you can't really take advantage of the nutrient partitioning stuff very effectively. The most powerful nutrient partitioner is exercise.
Okay. Like
if you are lifting weights, doing high intensity cardio, and exercising with any kind of vigor, you're going to use fuel better. 99% of the metabolic disorders we have, obesity, all of these things are related to there just being too much nutrients sitting around. So they just kind of floating around the blood, they clog the arteries, or we have high blood triglycerides, high blood glucose levels, and it causes problems because we're supposed to be doing something with the food we eat. Yeah. So if you are moving, then it's going to be used properly. So I would say, for the most part, you don't need to worry too much about nutrient partitioning. UD2 was asked about earlier. That plays with the idea of trying to deplete glycogen and load it, and then at that point, you're not going to have conversion to fat from being on high carbs and trying to kind of trick the body. But it's a short window. It's a stressful process, and for most people, it's not necessary. But that's what nutrient partitioning is.
So do they really have to worry about it like on a constant daily basis? Like wake up in the morning, fuck.
If you're a shredded advanced level bodybuilder who is doing a non-linear diet, it may be something you want to think about. But in general, work out. Work out and you'll get a lot of good
Workout,
nutrition. Get enough sleep, you know?
Okay.
You guys know where the VA hospital is around here?
The which hospital?
VA, Veterans Hospital?
I don't think there's a...
All right, I'm gonna do one for my boy Matty. He asked about Matty Fusaro.
Oh, I know that name.
Yep. He says fat distribution, shredded / vascular with no abs. How to get better physique without looking too skinny from lowering body fat percentage so much.
Okay, the first two weren't even questions. Fat distribution.
It's a little complicated.
That is a statement. Good work. Yeah.
all love, Matty. All love. We still know how to answer this.
I don't know.
Okay, it sounds like he's asking, how do you get a better physique? Shit. Without looking too skinny from lowering body fat percentage so much.
So how do you not get small while getting shredded, basically?
Yeah, how do you get shredded without looking like shit?
Be bigger before you start and don't lose muscle. And I addressed the whys and all the other questions. Or the hows, excuse me.
Yeah. All right.
Don't starve yourself. Lift weights. Eat some protein. Don't be small when you start.
Yeah. I think a good way to, avoid looking, they say skinny, like during a prep is just, build yourself a good amount of muscle before competing or something like that, right?
You have to be patient. I mean,
yeah.
I honestly haven't looked in the mirror and really thought I built myself a good physique until recently. I've trained for 3 years and I was like, yeah, small. 5 years, yeah, still kind of small. 7 years, and not as big as I want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's no quick fix, and if you're looking for a quick fix or a way around, you're gonna be looking forever. And then you're gonna look up one day and be like, oh, I look good, I've been training for 10 years.
So I guess, yeah, we could transform this question, like how long should a natural, average genetic, decently good work ethic person work out for? Of course their nutrition's somewhat on point, let's just say. Like how long would you recommend they work out for before, say, stepping on a bodybuilding stage with high expectations?
To be competitive?
Yeah. Competitive in, say, an NBF, trying to go for IFPA Pro card.
So they're going in an open class?
Yes, in the open class.
Well, you know what, I'll give you some case studies. Because I don't think you should only be competing to get a pro card. But Berto, I would say he has, pretty decent genetics. He had been training for about 7 years, and he stepped on stage and got a pro card. I had been training for 8 years, and I stepped on stage at a much less competitive show, and I got a pro card. If I'd stepped on the same stage as Berto, I probably would need to put in another couple of years. Let's see, Lane, I think, put in about 7. If you do things right, somewhere between 5 to 10 years seems to be the sweet spot where you're a threat. I mean, the reality is if you go to a weak show, you can win a pro card relatively easy. If you go to a hard show, you could be super good and not win. Like Brett Freeman did like every super badass hard show on the East Coast and won a pro card. And I was convinced he was going to get it, year prior. Yeah. But he just showed up against
fucking
so
monster.
many good guys, Yeah. I remember the first overall I got to, the Cap City 09, it was Moji Alua, Jeff Alberts, Brian Boozman, and me.
That's fucking crazy.
And all 3 of them are now pros, and now so am I. So I mean, it's like you have to look at the depth of the field. It's increasing.
Yeah.
So all you can do is get super good, and then compete in a whole bunch of shows, and eventually you'll be the best guy. You'll be that guy in the show.
Yeah, eventually. Somewhere on the line.
Yeah, if Matt had done certain shows, he would have won his pro card in was it 2011 you competed? 2010?
2011.
2011, yeah. Like if he'd done the Reno show with me, he would have my sword. So.
Oh shit.
So there you go.
I think I get what Matty's asking now. Matty, you asked shredded vascular with no abs. I think what he's asking is, how is it possible that some people like look seriously shredded, have veins all over their body, on their BBC,
they don't have abs,
but don't have abs?
Either they don't know how to flex them, and Berto had this problem. A bunch of people have this problem. They're basically doing a drawing in maneuver instead of a contraction. And if you don't have big tendinous inscriptions, the thing that make the 6-pack, it'll just kind of flatten, and it won't look like you have abs. Even though you might have veins in your hip or whatever. Yeah. So you need to just be able to contract your abs, you know, cough, and that'll probably do it, right? For most
What about the people that have some sort of genetic? You know?
Or some people just don't have a six-pack, or even a four-pack. They kind of have like a two-ish pack, you know? Or maybe what he's talking about is I'm lean everywhere except the last part I have body fat is my abs. And, you know, deal with it. I get lean everywhere and my asses and my quads are still fat.
Yeah.
You're gonna have some place that has to be last to go.
Can you change it? Like, say, can you somehow say,
no,
fuck you, I want you up in my tits?
No. Short of surgery, no.
Okay.
So stop worrying about it.
So you can't really
Just keep dieting until everywhere is shredded if you want to get on the bodybuilding stage.
Yeah.
Don't spend the last 6 weeks of your diet staring at your body part that is still fat. You'll just go crazy.
I guess this comes out as the average person, you know, wants to lose body fat from their belly, of course. It's always about their belly. That's where it is, right?
If you get down to a healthy body fat percentage, your belly will be smaller than it was when you were not. If you are already lean and you're a neurotic eating disorder person and you want to just get, you know, shredded abs, well, that's probably why you're a neurotic eating disorder person. But it won't happen. If you want your stubborn body fart, if you want your stubborn body part to be shredded, your whole body has to be shredded.
Yeah. All right, Maddie.
Another thing you can do is just get a whole lot of development there so that you stretch the fat out a little more. You know, if you got massive quads and you carry a lot of fat on your quads, they're gonna look good at a higher percentage body fat.
That is very true.
That's basically what I did this last season. Like if you look at my my contest pics and my front relaxed, I have pretty well established, you know, lateralis, medialis, and medius, but I didn't have striations in my quads because that takes. I got striations in my glutes before I get striated quads. So.
Yeah, I guess that. I don't know, it just makes me think about IFBB pros, but like you'll see a lot of IFBB pros, you're like, that person's really not even that, he doesn't even look super shredded, but at the same time, you can see a ton of definition in them just because of the level of muscularity.
Yeah.
It's just like, holy shit.
If there's a water line on mountains, right?
Yeah.
There's small mountains, you only see some of them popping out. There's two things you can do. You can reduce the water line to show more, that's reducing your fat, or you can make the mountains grow more.
Yeah.
Is it the same time like every time you diet though?
No. You'll have different distribution when you diet, and I think a lot of that has to do with each time you diet you're going to have different changes in your like hormonal changes, and the hormonal changes seem to influence body fat distribution. Like if you talk to women who have gone through menopause, you know they tend to tell you that their body fat distribution's changed. And if you look at like the pear-shaped women versus the apple-shaped men, you know the presence of certain hormones in certain amounts in relation to one another affects the way we distribute body fat. So, you know, if you go through a prep that was change your hormonal profile because you had a hard diet, you got lean, you may find that as you come up, body fat distribution changes, and then it'll kind of settle and go back to the way you were. So, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, in the end, if you want to get on stage and do well, you have to get all the way lean everywhere.
Yeah.
And then the way it comes back on, you can't change. It's going to be, you know, based on your genetics and your hormonal situation.
Without looking too skinny. All right, I think we covered this question as good as we could. I'm trying to like, you know, see if I'm reading it right. And
I answered with many different versions that fat distribution. He means on his body. I was thinking like macronutrient distribution of fat throughout the day.
No, I think he's talking about fat distribution on the body.
Yeah,
body fat.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's. Don't be so ambiguous.
You motherfucker. God damn it, Maddie.
Yeah, that's why they seem like unrelated questions at first, but I get it now.
Yeah.
Don't be lazy question askers. That makes me mad.
God damn it, Matt.
Cardio thoughts.
That wasn't you, Matt.
No, that's to anyone who says cardio thoughts. That's not you, don't get mad.
Cardio thoughts. I could probably go through my message block and actually find one within the last 2 days that says cardio thoughts.
Yeah.
All right, I think we covered a lot of these questions, and you're probably like burnt out from this. I think we're good, guys. Are we good?
We're good.
Maddie, that was the last question, Maddie. We're gonna call this a day. That was a lot of questions, and I think we answered a lot of people.
I hope so.
Fuck.
Learn some things.
Hey, quit being a little bitch! Ogus cake!